It's time for us to focus on Shelton, brought to you by our community credit union, and a big thanks to them, and a big thanks to the Shelton Police Department. We have Captain Fiola on this morning. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Talking about the Reserve Academy, and that is coming to a conclusion this Thursday tonight, right?
Tonight's their test. Their graduation is the 22nd, but yeah, it's coming to an end. All good things must come to an end. So
Sure.
I know the recruits are extremely happy that it's concluded. They kicked off in May, I believe. So May 1st was
What kind of test is there tonight?
Tonight's their comprehensive, so it's basically the state will come down and proctor. It's called a comprehensive exam, and it basically covers everything that we've covered, from criminal law, criminal procedures, traffic enforcement, patrol procedures, constitutional law, all the way up to like everything. So if you see people walking around the town with flashcards, it's probably them.
Oh, cute. I love that.
You usually see them parked out at the coffee stand at 7th Dakota with their cards. But no, they're very excited. We got 11 graduates. Extremely proud of them.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been great.
And they all
Very
come from
nice.
the Shelton area? Is that one of the requirements, or how does this work?
Yeah, so 5 of the graduates will be ours, Shelton Police Department officers. We have 2 from the Elm Police Department in Thurston County, and then 4 from the Thurston County Sheriff's Office.
Oh, very
So
cool.
the Shelton ones, I think we have 2 high climber graduates that are part of the program. So we're always happy to get people that are vested in our community that
Yes.
come through the ranks. Extremely happy about that. And then we had one actually move from Bellingham down here, and he actually was just offered a full-time position with the Shelton Police Department.
Wow.
So he'll be going to the full-time academy in February. So he gets to graduate one academy and kick off with the full-time one, which is much longer. But yeah, he's really
there's
excited.
a lot to learn. So.
There's a lot to learn, and we give our officers a lot of power, so we want to make sure that they're trained correctly.
Yes.
So you say starts back in May, and let's talk about the time commitment that these folks have given to this Reserve Academy, and if for whatever reason they may not continue in law enforcement with Shelton or find a place locally, what are some of the life skills? I can only imagine that you come away with this with a totally new perspective on things, stuff like that.
Absolutely. So I'll start out by saying these are volunteers. So everything I talk about, understand it's on their own time, away from their families, etc. Police work has become so competitive to get into that this is really a foot in the door to gain experience, to kind of help you be a better applicant when you're trying for a full-time spot.
Oh, yeah.
So these guys have gone every Tuesday and Thursday evenings from 6 to 10, and then Saturdays and Sundays from 8 to 4. Now they've been given every
That's
other week.
dedication
That's
right
dedication,
there,
yeah. So we've given them every other weekend off. And a big hand out, or tip of the hat to my staff. These guys have, so every time the recruits are there, our officers are there too,
right,
training.
yeah,
So
right.
this is a huge commitment by our staff. So Sergeant Patton has done a great job. Sergeant Kostad's done a great job. Officer Lawson, Officer Paulson, they've all given their time to come help these people. So that's been great.
Oh, good. Shout outs to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
So takeaways, the average reserve officer will be a full-time police officer usually within a year and a half, or another portion of them are going to say, you know what, this wasn't for me. A lot of people come into the Reserve Academy or police work thinking, well, I've watched this on TV and this is how it's done, and it's really not.
NCIS.
Correct.
CSI.
You're seeing people at their worst. You're seeing things that most human beings won't see in a lifetime on a daily or weekly occurrence. You're seeing suffering. You're seeing people being victimized, children being victimized. So it's a huge change in a paradigm of thinking of, well, this is what I really thought police work was, and I came here thinking I was going to help.
You almost have to be like a psychiatrist, or when you go to a call, I would think, because you don't know what's going to happen, but you have to try and.
So Chief Moody hits it on the head when he says, we wear 1,000 different hats, and that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
When law enforcement was first created, it was obviously, if there's a crime, they investigate and then they solve it by arresting someone, right? And now it's, you're a social worker, you're a mentor, you're a counselor, you're a referral agency, report taker. You really wear 1,000 different hats.
Totally.
And we've talked about budgets in the past, and it seems like when anything gets cut, whether it be from mental health, well, just give it to the police to deal with, and and we don't get any extra funding for it, and here we are, trying to solve all the world's problems, and I think that when new officers come in, that's kind of a fantasy that they have, is that, we're going to solve this and we're going to fix this. And, our vision of the police department is just make a difference, make a positive difference in whatever we do. We can't solve all the world problems. We can't solve homelessness. We can't solve drug epidemics. But you know what? We can make a positive impact on just the little things. And if we do that, we're going to be all right.
Well, I think it takes a rare individual, too, to be able to do that kind of job. Just like a teacher job or something. It's a rare person that can stick with that. And, like you said, some of them will not go into law enforcement,
Yeah, part of the testing, just to even get into the police department, is a psychological exam. That's one of the things our shrink basically looks at, is whether this person will adapt to the type of lifestyle that they're going to have. And we've had candidates, we thought, this person would be great for law enforcement, and the psychologist said, they're a great person, but these traits might be difficult for them to, and those are things we have to look at, not only for the applicant, but for the agency as well.
You talk a lot about the culture now in the Shelton Police Department with Chief Moody there, helming everybody up
who's,
there.
by the way, a 49er fan.
Yeah. We'll forget about that.
We'll forget about
that conversation. But he comes with a positive outlook on not only life but the city of Shelton and interactions with folks. He's out walking the beat as well. We see him a lot. Does he come in and talk to the reserves about kind of his background and mantra in things, or has it already been instilled enough in you, the new sergeants, and the rest to be able to really explain, I guess, the mission statement for the police department to these new folks?
No, that's a good question. So Chief Moody's been in the front of this thing from the get-go. He is an agent of change. I've been with the police department since 2003. If you've noticed, the Shelton Police Department, a lot of new faces. Yeah. He came in, and we've changed. We've embraced our mission statement. We have a vision. We have core values that we stand by now. And that was the first thing he echoed to the Reserve Academy. He was the first one to talk to him. Mm-hmm. So day one, they're brought in. Obviously, they're really nervous. The chief of police comes up, and he gives his speech, and he explains to him that this is what's expected of you. And one of the things we make our reserves do is, so we make them do a 200, like before they actually hit the streets. And this is me. My pet peeve, or what I like to see done, is they'll write a 250-word essay, and it's going to be on what the mission, the vision, and core values of the Shelton Police Department mean to them individually, and that goes in their personnel file, so that as we rate these officers, we can say this is what that meant to them, and does this decision fall in line with the mission? Mm-hmm. Does this fall in line with the core values?
Oh, cool. Okay.
And those things are very important to us.
Yeah.
They're posted on our door. Every time an officer leaves the office, they see our mission statement, they see our core values. So yes, Chief Moody has definitely ingrained that into them day one, and it's been echoed throughout the academy, and it will be continued to be ingrained. We call it a living document that will continue to be lived by as they work with us.
Very cool.
You mentioned, as we were initially talking about this, and some of the folks who work in the department now and have worked over the weekends and the Tuesdays and Thursdays, you mentioned a couple names, and you attached a couple sergeant positions to those. I was fortunate enough to be asked to be on the citizen panel for those. And what are the updates? Who did you guys eventually offer those new positions to?
Yeah, so we had 7 applicants apply for the sergeant's exam. So give you a little history lesson. So again, I've been with the agency since 2003. When I started, the 3 sergeants that were on board, actually 4 sergeants on board, had been there like 15, 20 years.
Oh, wow.
There was not much upward mobility in regards to promoting. Basically, someone either had to retire or die. That was basically it. You were going to be in patrol. So this opportunity came up. We had some retirements, and this was a prime time for the officers to test. So we had 7 applicants applying for 3 sergeant positions. They all did a very good job. Obviously, you got to sit on one of the boards. Mm-hmm. So part of the testing involved a citizen board. Like I said, the community, our mission is the community, and we want them involved in everything that we do. So this was part of the process. So they sat in there, did a community portion. We had a professional board of other sergeants from other agencies surrounding the Mason County area, and then we had an assessment center where they had to deal with a problem employee, come up with a plan, and write it out. Mm-hmm. So Sergeant Patton was promoted, then Sergeant Kostad was promoted, and then Sergeant Justine Fry. So
Wow.
they've all three have been with the agency for some time. Great applicants. We're really looking forward to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Congratulations.
Those were
on
great
that.
conversations.
Oh, very
really,
cool.
yeah,
I
really
bet.
interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I've had a bunch of them on the air over the years, and so we kind of already knew that. And many of them mentioned that when they came in. This is media or something like that.
Yeah.
But being able to ask them these kind of more pointed questions that we had a little more time to delve into. It was pretty. Yeah.
What did you
amazing.
think about it? I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
what was your thought sitting on it? I mean, how did the candidates do?
Well, I mean, the first thing that we all took away from the panel, and I don't want to speak for everybody, but I feel that we all kind of realized quickly how invested in the department folks are, and how much Chief Moody's presence has changed. And there was not a moment where you could not circle back to their answer and put it in with the mission statement or some values that I have, talked with Chief Moody about,
Right.
just individually.
Right.
So from the top down, or the bottom up, I guess is the way you would look at it, everybody in that police department has bought in on this new vision, and it's really amazing to see that, especially because this is a 24-hour operation.
Yes.
And there are times like these sergeants, if I'm not mistaken, are going to split up the day.
Yeah.
8, and 8, something like that.
Yeah, so two of those, we actually work 12-hour days. So our two sergeants are, you think, well, I got promoted, I'm going to get the easy shift. Negative, Nancy. So these guys, the two of the sergeants went straight to night shift. And the reason why is we want supervision on those night hours. And we want our citizens to be able to know that there's a supervisor on duty and things like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned it the next day or something like that, but the citizens of Shelton and then the surrounding area where the police department also interacts with are in very good hands.
Yes.
And with these new sergeants, it's
we're
That's
really
great.
proud of them. And like I said, even the ones that didn't get it also did a really good job too.
Sure.
It wasn't like there was this huge difference in scores. Like they're all really right in the running. And the chief made his decision and the department's bought into it. So we're good to go.
very nice.
That's great.
Captain Viola from the Shelton Police Department, it's always good talking with you.
Yes,
You as
it
well.
is.
And we will see you around and check in next time. The Focus on Shelton this week and every week is brought to you by our community credit union.